guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel Ultimate Knife Search. Today I am back in the forest again and making some videos, but it is a rainy day. It's raining and raining and raining, so the introduction here will be in the shelter. Yes, today it's about the work tough gear Wilson, and before this knife will get a full introduction, I will say a few words. First of all, I have reached now 500 subscribers, and I am so grateful and thankful for your support out there. And I know, as I mentioned in my recent video, I have been away for almost 6 months, so that's subscribers still grow. It is very I am speechless. It is so awesome. But I'm back business again, guys, and I will promise you I'll get more knife videos and reviews here in the future now. So thanks for that, guys. Yes, first and foremost, this work tough gear Wilson. From now on, I'll just call it Wilson. It's a cookery style knife, and I am probably one of the few guys in the whole world. I hate the look of a cookery knife, but I will put my hands down for the performance of a cookery knife. It is tremendous. The cookery knife, you can do anything with it, and it has so much power because of the recurve and the blade and how it shapes and chop down power and the weight and all that jazz. But I don't like the look of the cookery knife. Sorry, guys. But when I saw this Wilson here, I think, that's something. That's really a knife here from. If you have a blacksmith here in the Nordic, a good old Viking with a long white beard, he could have smith something like this. So this knife here get my attention, and I think I will try to buy it and see how it works. And I must say, guys, I have used it now for a couple of days, and I am impressed, but we will get back to that. First and foremost, I will say, because my eyes now are on the work tough gear knife, is because I bought this knife here for half a year ago from Eric Outer Limits. He's designed this work tough gear Chanto here, and that is awesome. And I'll just use a short minute to talk a little bit about this knife here. I have recently, in my holiday vacation, me and my girlfriend we traveled to an island, and I think there was 120 kilometers around the island, and we go like the island, and there was a tough terrain, guys. And we just live in shelters, and I make fire, and I was not hunting with this knife here, but everything I use this knife for food prep and fire camp and all thing, and I was impressed of this knife here. And please go in and check my review, and you can see more details on this work tough gear Chanto here. Unfortunately, you can't buy them anymore, but maybe there are someone out there that don't use them that they'll like. So if you can get some of this knife here, please buy it. It is awesome. And we were away for 7 days. We used to travel around this island, and I will say there are something that I will not compare these two knives here, but I will say this knife here is 500 kilograms lighter than the Wilson. So that's why I really was in love and this knife here. But I could also have used this knife for the same purpose, but I will get 500 more grams in my backpacks, and that was heavy enough. So yes, this is a beast of a knife. You have a lightweight knife that is nimble and is chopped like hell, and you can use it for almost anything. Please see my video on this knife here. You will not be disappointed. And for at least I jam it to a car hood at least in the video. So this is a tough knife. I really love it and still love it. Yes, got back to this Wilson here. I have for several years, I have this here. It's also a cookery style knife from Fox. It's called the Fox Pathfinder. And the reason I bought this knife here was because it do not have so much falling down like a cookery, and it is pointy, so you can still pierce with it. That was the one thing I was a little bit, what can you say, scared about with buying this Wilson here. Does it have some piercing ability? But we will get back to that. The only thing I do not like with this knife here, I have used it also a lot for hiking trips and something, and it has a good weight to it also, but it's the size. It's very long knife, and I can show you now. Here you got it, guys. Look at this awesome beast of a knife. I can't express enough. It looks really awesome. And I'll say, I know it's made in Taiwan, and I don't know the designer about it, but this is something a Viking could have smith here in the Nordic. It looks awesome, and this green liners there on this G10 handle there. And look at this hook here. That was something I really love. I think it's also on the Poisson Wilderness Bowie. There are big hook here, so your hand cannot go away. And when you chop with it, you don't have to squeeze the handle. You can just hold it loose, and it will go nowhere and chops like hell. Good. You can see here, guys. I hope I can make something so you can see the difference there. I try to hold them as equal in the bottom, and you can see this Fox Pathfinder is almost 3 inches longer, so that's a very long knife to travel with, but I love it, and I love the piercing ability on it. You can see there it's a little bit different because the nose on the Wilson are tipping a little bit more down. So yes, I will put this away here again. It's an awesome knife also, and I could not show this Wilson knife here without taking this, and that's something I have also made a review on this Condor Atox here. This is a fast, nimble and light knife also, but the steel is not so thick, and I don't know if it is a heat treatment, but I have bent this tip many times, so that's why I have also made a video on this when I have cut this section down and modified it a lot, and this works just a little bit more. But to compare sizes, you can see the Wilson is maybe a hair shorter, so that's also something I really love, that the knife is not so long, so it's easy to travel with. But the knife have, of course, one, can you say, big issue for me is weight. Almost, I think now here is a 950 kilograms, so that is a very hefty knife. But when it's in your hand, it's not feel so heavy. So that's an awesome thing. But when you have to travel, and as I mentioned in my other video, 90% of the times we don't use a knife, we carry a knife when we go hiking. Not hiking, but Viking. We are traveling around with the knife, so I think that the sheet is almost 1150 grams, so it's a very hefty knife to work with. So, but yes, a little bit more. Normally, I do not show anything the knife come within because I think that is boring. But I will say, for worktop gear, they ship fast, guys, and I will say at first I do not get any credit or a free knife or anything from worktop gear to mention this, but I think they have some very, you got this, what can I say, suitcase something, the knife come within, and they have stitched now, instead of a pad, they have stitched now the logo in the pad. I think it's awesome, and that's a good thing when if you have to travel around and you have the knife in this thing here, all you guys who have weapons, shooting guns or something, you know what I'm talking about. And you get this bottle opener here. And something more, I think that is, you can see, I don't know if it is around because the camera, but it says thank you Esben, and signed Wick, Lynn of course. But that's something, a little personal touch, and that's something that makes, you know, that try to get a little bit close to the customers, and I like that. So that's also a beer open and a logo there, so that's something that's really. And you got the microfiber cloth, and you got the different attachment and fire steel and something. So yes, and when I have a big knife, I like to carry it like this. So and they have seen that on the internet pretty. So they have made some little attachment there, and also on the belt loop there you can see, so you can easily put it on as a sling, and you just hook these two on, and you can put it on your belt if you like that. So but I like to a heavy knife, I like to carry it like this. So yes, that's something I think I will mention in this video here, because as maybe other companies could learn a little bit about this. This is something, what can you say, you get a little bit more feel with your customers when you do something like this. If you want to use it or not, it's up to you, but I think that is awesome. So keep on doing that, Work Tough Gear. That's something that make your knives a little bit more, what can you say, exclusive. So yes, God, back to this knife here, guys. I was excited to show you. You can see here, Kydex sheet. They have some, you can take the knife out without, maybe I can show you, loosen this, but it's a little bit difficult. So it is easier to take out and in if you take this strap on and off. And that's something I think this cookery style knife here is pretty okay made sheet, and it follow the body very good. So I think that's awesome. So thumbs up for that, Work Tough Gear. Yes, back to the knife here, guys. Look at it. Look at it. It's so awesome. You got different lashing points there, and you can, if you just see on the knife, you can see it can work like hell. It is awesome, and you almost have some, what can you call it, pray bar like thing there in the end, and I will get back to that in the review, guys. And if you cannot see, if you like to, like me, go on the campus on and something, if you cannot see, and this is made for betoning, I don't know what, it is so awesome when you hold a knife like this and you hit it like here, and you will not hurt your beton stick so much because it's a full flat there. So that's awesome. And there's something more. Up to here, that has rounded this off, so when you hold the choil here and use the knife, you will not get hurt in your thumb. But immediately here, you will get a 90-degree spine, guys, and I will not just say a 90-degree spine. This spine here is sharp, so you can easily take a fire steel and make a fire, and you can also use it for if you have to take some bark off trees and something like that. So that's awesome. So okay. That was a little bit about the knife and why I think this is an awesome knife. And let's go back and see what it can do. So not all this yabbly-yab talking. So see you guys. As I mentioned before, everything today is turned around because it is raining like hell here. So I'll try to keep you guys in dries. But let's see if this monster of a knife here have something, and I will try to use it without glove because I really love the hook on this knife here in the back. So that's something I really like. So let's see, just almost looking at the knife, you will know it has some perfect chopping power, and you can you can easily chop something. You don't have to be a mathematic to figure it out that this knife here can chop But we know we can chop, guys, so I will not use your time to show that. So I will try to see here if you can make a little bit easier fine work with this knife here. And as Scott from Choy Boys Cutlery Outdoors, I think it calls. He's an awesome guy. Go out. He'll also make this review on this knife here. And Scott, what do you say? Scott Choy Boys Cutlery Outdoors, I think it's called. Yes, he's an awesome dude, and he really put some heart and soul to his reviews. So go out and check him out, and he is also a Work Tough Gear reviewer. So but you can see there easily, guys, you can make something pointy easily. And I must say, when you hold it here, the knife for me has some good mid-weight balance, so it's easier to make like this. You can make some quick, fine chopping things there, so you can make something easy. And there are another thing with this type of knife here. I will have something food with me today, but I forget it. So, but normally when you have a recurve knife, it's not so easy to prep food with. But you have this section here, down here. Don't know if you can see it down here. So that is full flat, almost flat. So that's easy. If you have something and have to cut an onion or something, or what else, meat or something, you can use this end to cut some food with. So that's awesome. And if you have this knife here with you, if you don't want to use the knife for anything, today I got my buck from the Combat series, and that's light, guys. It only weighs 100 grams. So I almost use my folder to prep prep food. So yes. Okay, guys, no doubt about it. This knife here can chop. So let's go on and see. See here, got some little thing here. See if you can split this in two. There's no problem, guys. And you can see I have no worries when I am here on this stump here and chop through it. I have no worries to twist the knife. I'll see if we can show it twisted like this and open, because this is so wide here, so you almost got what can you say, a prey bar. So I'm no worry to bending this tip here or anything. You just twist the knife. It's shouldered up to this with no problem. See here, guys. See, let's go right through it. No problem at all. And let's show a little bit. This wood here is wet, so I'll try to. I'm using the choil here. Again, I'm not a fan of the choil, but in somehow Work Tough Gears knives, I will say also the Woodcraft 10-2, and this here, I'm not so disappointing about the choil, but I rather would like the blade, the cutting edge, go all the way here, because you can hold it like this. You don't have to use a choil, but that's just my opinion, guys. So you can see here, and this guy and this knife here for its size is so sharp. It can really make some fine things here. And again, guys, this wood here is wet like hell, but I'll try if I can make, see, paper thins, feather sticks there, so they fall off, all of them. But try so you can do some. You can see there, guys, there's no problem. And let's see, I don't know if I can go through this because this is so full of knots, but let's try it, and maybe we can baton too. So I don't think I can, because this is so hard. This is some, what can you say, pine wood, or this is hard and full of knots. But you can see here, guys, you hold this section to hammer down, and maybe we can. Oh yes, guys, I will tell you immediately, this knife here split wood like an axe. I know I hate that terms, but I really mean it. It is so badass to splitting wood. See, you can do this one more time to make some beton. And you can see here, look at this guys, this is almost made for hitting, because this is flat here and it is, you go right through it. I got some big knots there. Look at this. This is really awesome. Try this one more time, not to bother. See if we can split this. It is so badass. And again, I have no worries. I have no worries to twist this knife to open this wood here, because it is so hard in the tip, so no worries there. Okay guys, let's go on. Okay guys, I am really sorry for the rain, but I hope you can see something. That was something I mentioned in my intro video about this knife here. It was the piercing ability, because it has this round section here, so of course this is not so pointy like the example like the Woodcraft Gentle, but I can control myself. I have to throw this as a spear and see if you can do some semi hunting with this knife here. So let's try on guys and see if you can throw this as a spear. Yes, you can. It hits a little bit. It hits a little bit different because of the tip of the knife, but let's try one more time. It goes deep, guys. You have to be careful when you throw it. That was not so good. Let's try one more time. Yes. Yes, let you guys take a closer look. You can see the knife has a very good lashing points, because it has some hole here and here. I just started here and bind a knot and go around. And I'll show you a picture, and you can see there, so you have some good stability, and you have to, the wood here, you have to make it flat before you push the knife. But you can see here, you can definitely hunt with this knife here. If I should have to take a knife with me from home and use it as a spear as hunting, I will not use this knife here, of course, because of the way it's shaped. I will take the Woodcraft Gentle to this kind of purpose. But it was fun to see to see if you can use this as a spear, and you can see here, guys, it goes pretty deep. So is this the only knife you have with you, and you are in a situation when you need to hunt and use it like a spear, you can definitely do that. But you have to be, I'm saying now, I am sound like an expert, but I have thrown many knives as a spear, and you have to be a little bit cautious with this knife here, because this is nose heavy. So when you throw it, I'll try to show you guys. You can see normally you have to find the balance on this spear here, and normally I will hold it like here, but because it's so nose heavy here, I hold it here almost like back the handle here, and you can throw it from, I throw it from, I think 6 or 7 meters, so that's no problem, guys. So yes, if you are in a situation where you need to take some bark off a tree to use to make some fire, I know, guys, this is soaked wet now because it's raining so much, but I'll just illustrate. Here you have this section here, you can see it is a 90-degree spine there, so it's almost like a prey bar. So if you want to take some bark off, and normally you'll have to use the sharp side or this side here, for this knife here, because you have this section here, you can use this. You can see here, you can use this as a pray bar, and you can take it off so fine. And now, yes, it is wet, so, but you can take this off without damage the sharp side of the knife and without to hurt the tree in somehow. So that's something, and you can use this pray bar section here for anything, and you can also go deeper if you have to take something to fire, to make a fire. You can see here I can take layer for layer with this knife here, and I have some very good control over it when I hold it here and like this, and I can use this pray bar section. I do not know if that was the purpose when he designed this knife here, and you can make this, but see here guys, see, I make some fine. This is so easy to make a fire with that type of wood here when it's dry, but I can go so deep as you want when it's going to be dry, but try to keep my hand under, and you can see here it is fine. That's something you normally will use this sharp spine tool here, and you can make a little bit the same, but you don't have the same control over it like if you do this. So that's awesome. That's something more. That's not just a knife, guys. It's a good multi-tool here. Yes. Let's see if this Humbo Jumbo Wilson knife here can chop, and we know it can chop, guys. You have some perfect grip here, and you have this hook here, and that's what I was explaining in the intro. You don't have to squeeze the knife so hard if you're afraid the knife will fly out in your hands, because you can hold it not like a soft boy hand, but you can soften your hand up. And I will tell you something, guys. When I have been hiking, not hiking, but hiking for several days, you can get tired in your hand and arm using a knife. So that's something that is very awesome, that you can relax in your hands when you chop with it. So you don't have to squeeze it so hard, but of course you have to hold it to control the knife. So let's drop this. I think this is a 3-inch lock there, yeah. So let's try to see. And this is old. It is dead. So that's no problem. Oh yes. Okay. Sorry guys. One shot. It was because it was dead, so it broke in half. Let's try down here to cut it. Okay. This wood here is dry and rotten, and I don't see that coming. It was so much. But yeah, it can chop. Maybe I can find another one. Maybe I can take another one. You can see there. Don't know if you can see that, guys. Yes. Let's try this one. Give a more real picture. Yes. See, guys. Look how much it bites every time. That's really, and I'll say, Scott, Charlie Boy's Cutlery, he talks about a sweet spot on this knife here, and there I hope he means this spot here, because that's the sweet spot for me. It's just there. So when you hit it there, you have so much power and control over the knife. So you can see there, it's no problem. You can chop with this knife here a whole day. So that's awesome. A little update here. I have now traveled, I can say 5 kilometers when I have go around with this knife here, just to get the feel of it, how it feels and how it moves around, and I find something. Normally you can see I got the sling here all the way around, and as I talked before, this knife here could go and sling around, because it is so, especially on this jacket here, because it's not so, what can you say, it's not so smooth. It is smooth, so that's why it go around. But in the belt loop there, I put this strap through it. It's just a little backpack there, and I think it's 40 liters or something. And and that's something that's awesome. I put this to the belt loop and still keep the sling, and that's mean that I somehow carry this knife's weight on my shoulder also. Instead of it's only, but there's also a weight on here, the sling, but it mostly carry here in the backpack. So and somehow you can say I have 3 carrying points, one shoulder and in here on a strap, and this shoulder here. So this knife here now feels very, very light to carry around, and that's something that is really awesome. And I know this is the 3rd or 4th time I mentioned this. 10% of the time we use the knife. All the 90% we carry the knife around. I know there are different people out there, and I have mostly respect for all type of people who are into knives. But I like to use my knife. I like to hike with them, go with them, use them for any kind of situation I am getting myself into. I use the knife. So that is one thing that's really important for me, is how to carry the knife. So that's something I think that's really, really awesome also, that you can put this strap to the belt loop and also use the sling, and you can use the knife. So that's awesome, guys. That's one thing more you can, if you want to hike or go some in the frost, you can strap it like this, and you can strap it many ways, but that's something that's really awesome, and it is very, very easy to get access to when it's here in on your stomach. So yes, that's awesome. Yes, guys, that was a little test use on this knife here, and I can tell you it's an awesome knife, or cookery, call it what you want. But there are some different things I'll try quick to explain. The rain is so hefty now that I had to go into the shelter and finish my review. But I have then been a little bit hard testing use here. And if you want to see the knife here, cut some water hose and some really hefty rubber hose, go out to the Scott, Quailboy's Cutlery, and he has shown how the knife perform if you cut some small things. So, but I will to explain a few things here. I will say the first thing, when I buy this knife, I was a little bit worried about how this knife will pierce because of the tip. As I have mentioned, when I throw it as a spear, you can throw it as a spear, and of course when you use something like this knife here, you do not spear like this way. It's a little bit like a karambit or other cookery. You almost do like this every time you have to pierce something like this. So instead of this, was because of it has this nose tip here. But for hiking or Viking, this knife here is awesome, and it has some perfect thing here when you have to beton with it at a 90-degree spine to take a fire steel and a choil, so you can do some fine work. And there's something more here. When you have this kind of recurve here, you have to get used to use a recurve knife, because if a new knife owner get this in the hand, he'll say, I can use the knife for anything. But of course you have this section down here that works like a knife and is what can you say, recurved the other way, so you can use that to prep anything. So that's awesome. But this recurve here, the good thing with a recurve is anything you put in this type, what can you say, in this section here, it will always draw into the middle, because the highest point is here. So if you take, let's try to see it. If you take something like this and you go down, it will automatically go in there. So it will never go away from the sharpest point of your knife, or the sharp thing, as you say. Because if this have been a flat thing, you do like this, you can do it like this and go this way. But when you have the recurve here, it always go into the middle of the knife. So that's something really good control to have with the knife when you have a recurve blade there. And I will say, guys, for 950 grams, it is very nimble and easy to use. If I have to choose, I don't know, for you cannot compare these two knives, because they are so different. But if I have to choose between my Woodcraft Chanto or this Wilson here, and I have to go for 3 days hiking, not hiking, but hiking, I will choose my Woodcraft Chanto, because you can chop with it, you can make it, you can use it to hunting as a spear and everything. You have a little bit limit with this knife here, but if you are around the camp or you have to chop something and you have this awesome pray bar here, and again, you can also use this knife for all things. So that's mostly because what kind of knife you also like, because if this is the type of knife you like, you can do anything with this knife. Don't get me wrong, I am not talking this knife down. This is an awesome knife, and I love it, and I will take it with me many times. But if I have to choose between these two, I will take the Woodcraft Chanto, because it's a more pointy knife and because it's weight 500 grams lighter, and you can do the same thing with it. But of course, this here will chop more like a badass type of deal. I will say this handle here I like a little bit more that there's the handle on the Woodcraft Chanto, not because of the look, but because of this hook at the end there. I really love this hook, and they have some, I don't think how much inch there are up here, but it's a little bit shorter down here. So if you look at my hand, I have big monster hands, guys. I have mentioned that many times. It fits my hand perfect, and it has some good swollen there in the middle. So that's really something that is awesome. Work Tough gear. If you see this video here, I can't wait till you get the I think it's called Work Tough gear Amish John, yes, because this look a little bit like this knife here, just with a little bit more Bowie style at the end. So I really looking forward to try to get this knife if I can get it in time. So yes, that was a little bit on this knife here. And I will say, guys, I have talked a lot about this piercing ability here, but don't be afraid of it. It can really pierce, and you can use it for many things, and I will not be afraid to take it with me any day, any camp, anything. And I think they have really nailed it, how the sheet works, and it's just easy to carry, even if it's a really what can I say, heavy knife. And if you have to do something perfect, there are one more of these with the package you get. You can strap it here, and you can make a little paracord with some hook on it, and hook it to your pants down here. I have thought about that, because when you go, this sling here will go down and go around, so you have to all the time put it up back here. But if you make this here down your pants, you are over this problem, and it will not go anywhere. But that's just me. You can do whatever you want, and on sometime when you go, it's good to get rid of the knife, so you can just get it on your back. So there's a really many options to carry this knife and use this knife here. But I will say, guys, and that's not something I have talked about, look at the appearance of this knife here. I really like Wicked Luke's knife. We all know the skull crusher, XXB skull crusher from Tuff. That's awesome. When this come from several years ago, people were on the tails. But now we are getting a little bit more into this, I will not say fantasy type of knife, but they have some little bit awesome shapes and something, and I really like Wicked looked knife when they have some purpose. So for me, I don't know if this end has this purpose, as I've shown you as my review, as I use it as a prey bar to scrape some wood off. And you can do some really fine task work, because it's a 90-degree spine down here, so you almost have extra edge you can use for something, and I really love that. That is awesome. So overall, awesome knife, very good heft to it. It has a lot of chopping power, guys. If you only want something to chop, this is the way to go. You cannot go wrong with this. And I will say the handle, guys, the handle is for me 70% of the knife. This is an awesome handle, and look at it with this green liners. I really love it. And for me, there's a really some good Viking spirit on this knife here. So that is awesome. And you can see for the use today, I don't know if you can get some focus. Yes, there are nothing in this blade here, this SK85 steel. And many steel nerds out there, they are really going into the steel world, but I'll say I have 44C type of knives who was hold up pretty well. It's not all about the steel, guys, it's about the heat treatment. Don't get me wrong, everything saying, oh, it's only this steel that you can use and there's no problem. But the heat treatment of the steel is the key to make a good knife. Even if you had a lower, what can you say, not a budget steel, but even if you have some steel that's not so good, but if the heat treatment is good, you can really make a good type of blade. So, but this SK85 here and the heat treatment that they do over in workshop gear, you cannot go wrong with this knife. That is 950 grams of badass steel here, guys. So yes, a quick shout out to my friend over there, Pistol Pete, and go in and check his video. He also has some good reviews on his workshop gear knives, and I know he's just been a father, so he will get out in the field in not so long. And of course, Scott's Joy Boys Cutlery Outdoors, I think is a long name for a Scandinavian to say, and also Donny B all day. Go in and check his video out. Also, they're really awesome. And Vlad Knife from Switzerland. They are deal also with this workshop gear, and I think here the other day, maybe today, no, the other day, Mr. Vlad Knife, he put some video up where he tested, what can you see, what kind of knife was it test? This was the hemlock. He's tested down there, so they also have some good videos, and they are talking a different language down there, but they are very good videos and shots, and they are very two awesome, beautiful people here from Scandinavia who really likes this type of knife here. So go in and check them out. Also, Vlad Knife from Switzerland. Yes. Okay, guys. I only have one thing more to say. Never go hiking. Go hiking!